Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a whole stack of sources you've shared with us. We've got articles, notes, research, and it all seems to point towards the, well, incredible journey of Korra Obidi.
Right. And our mission, as always in these deep dives, is to really unpack what these sources say. Look at the key facts, the insights.
Exactly. And try to understand the evolution of this multi-talented artist. We're going to trace her path, from her roots in Nigeria right up to becoming this global figure she is now.
Yeah, kind of uncovering the layers behind maybe the online personality we see.
Absolutely. It's fascinating just looking through this material, how the sources show someone who, well, hasn't just stuck to one thing.
Mm-hmm. Constantly reinventing herself, it seems, moving across continents, different creative fields.
And doing it all very much in the public eye, which adds a whole other dimension, doesn't it?
For sure. It's a pretty unique path laid out here.
Okay, so based on everything we have here, where does her story actually, kick off? Where does it begin?
Well, according to the most detailed source we have, legit.nang, it starts in Nigeria. She was born Anita Obidi Chukwumfumnaya, June 23, 1991. In Lagos State.
Okay, 1991. Now, I noticed one source, Pianity, had a different age.
Yeah, I mentioned her being around 31,
Yeah.
but given how much detail legit.eng provides on her background, family, education,
Yeah.
that 1991 birth year seems much more consistent, places her around 32 in 2023.
Right, so we lean towards the legit.eng details for her origins then. Definitely Nigerian roots.
Exactly, despite that one brief mention of the U.S., in another source.
So what was that early life like? What do the articles tell us?
They describe her growing up in a Christian home. Her parents were Anthony Obi Obidi and her mother, Pauline, who sadly passed away. She has siblings too, two sisters, one brother.
And one sister, Nancy Uma, she pops up later in some reports, doesn't she?
She does, yeah. The
Yeah.
family was involved with a deeper Christian life ministry, and there's this interesting detail that she initially had to keep her dancing quiet.
Really? Hidden?
Yeah, apparently because of her religious upbringing,
Yeah.
which, says something about her drive even then.
Definitely. Pursuing something she loved, even if it wasn't maybe fully accepted at first. And her education was also in Nigeria.
Yep. Command Secondary School, then University of Lagos.
Yeah.
She actually got a degree in business administration and management.
Business admin. Okay. But the performance bug, bit early.
Seems like it. Legit. Ging mentioned she started as a child actress in Nollywood way back in the late 2000s.
Wow, okay. So performance was there from a young age, but the sources really paint this picture of her blossoming later into this incredibly versatile, well, performer.
Totally. It's not just one thing. Musician, dancer, model, content creator, choreographer, African music librarian, legit, list them all.
It's quite the portfolio.
It really is. It speaks to an ability to wear many hats, kind of simultaneously. And dance seems to be like the foundation for a lot of it.
It looks that way. She started dancing professionally quite early, didn't she? 2007.
Yeah, way back. Trained in various global styles, apparently taught dance in Shanghai.
And performed at some pretty big events. Muscat, Dubai, the Africa Basketball League.
Exactly. And not just one style either. Legit. Failing points out she specialized in contemporary, Latin ballroom, Indian classical, belly dance, ballet. Quite a range.
A real fusion approach.
Mm-hmm. And she was smart about translating that online, too, with platforms like Move with Korra and Korraverse. Shows an early grasp of, digital reach.
Okay, now let's talk about what seems like a pivotal moment highlighted in several sources. Her audition for So You Think You Can Dance in the U.S. in 2019. What was so significant there?
Well, the big thing, mentioned by the independent legit.ning, is that she auditioned while 6 months pregnant.
6 months pregnant? Wow.
Yeah, and reportedly she was the first pregnant woman ever to do that on the show. So it wasn't just a dance audition. It was, well, a statement.
That makes total sense. It's about skill, sure, but also challenging perceptions, body image, ability. It must have resonated globally.
Oh, absolutely. The sources show it had a huge impact. Her profile just exploded afterwards.
How so?
Well, she started getting featured in music videos. Not just for huge Nigerian artists like Techno, Davido, Dr. Sed, or Rezi.
Right.
But also international acts like the Black Eyed Peas are mentioned. And even before that, her talent was recognized. She was nominated for Best Dancer in Africa back in 2017.
So SYTYCD really amplified something that was already building.
Exactly. But she didn't just stick with dance. The sources also track her move into music quite significantly.
Right. Tell us about that.
That really seemed to kick off around 2015 with her first single, Man Like You. And she's released albums since then.
2 albums, I think.
Yeah, Woman Power series in 2016, and then Sounds from the Throne Room in 2019.
And the sources mention some specific tracks that did well.
They do. Royal Lamba, Cool Temper, Money Be Person get mentioned. Pianity also notes collaborations with artists like Femi Kuti, Pataranking, and Mr. Easy.
That's quite a list.
It is. And there's another interesting note from Pianity that she invited listeners to, like co-create her next album.
Oh, interesting. That fits with that interactive, very modern artist approach, doesn't it?
Definitely. And using her art, sources say, to promote African culture globally, too.
Okay, so dance, music. What about modeling? That's mentioned, too.
Briefly, yeah. She had some success there, won some titles during university, appeared at fashion weeks. But honestly, looking at the timeline,
Yeah.
the main driver for her global fame, especially more recently, seems to be her mastery of social media. That feels critical.
Right. How do the sources kind of illustrate that point?
Well, they show her fame, really, like skyrocketing because she was consistently sharing her dance and modeling content online.
Yeah.
Legit. Donning gives the numbers.
And they're pretty big numbers.
Huge. Over 400K subscribers on YouTube, 1.5 million on Instagram, 2 million on TikTok, and get this, 7.5 million fans on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah. That's not just stats. That's a direct line she built to a massive global audience, kind of bypassing traditional media gatekeepers.
Building her own brand, essentially.
Totally. And using that platform for more than just performance time.
Yeah.
Well, the sources mention her using her art for advocacy against social issues in Nigeria, like election manipulation, pollution.
Okay, so using her voice.
Right. And she expanded into writing, too. A children's book, Korra and the Last Seed of Odinani, and a memoir, My Active Pregnancy, probably drawing on that SYTYCD experience.
Makes sense. And then circling back almost, she returned to Nollywood.
Yeah, in 2022. Appeared in
Yeah.
some TV series. It just shows this constant layering, building on existing skills, adding new ones.
It's really clear she's built this incredibly diverse, very public career, which kind of brings us to the next major theme in the sources, how she's navigated her personal life under that intense spotlight, especially the challenges.
Yeah, and this is where things get very, very public. The sources cover her marriage to Dr. Justin Dean, a chiropractor, quite extensively.
They met. How did they meet again?
On Tinder, apparently. Legit. Young has that detail. Met in China, where she was teaching dance and he was working. They got married in December 2018.
And they have 2 daughters.
Right. June, born 2019, and Athena, born March 2022.
And the sources report that almost immediately after Athena was born, things fell apart very publicly.
Yeah, extremely publicly. Legit. And mentions on places like TikTok indicate Justin Dean announced their separation on social media literally days after Athena's birth.
Wow. And Korra responded.
She did. According to the sources, she denied his allegations of cheating and mentioned ending the marriage due to mental health reasons.
So the whole thing played out online for everyone to see.
Pretty much. And the legal side became public too. Divorce finalized November 2022. Then disputes over custody, spousal support.
And there's something about posting pictures of the kids online.
Right, legit. Panging reports a court order from January 2022. So before the public split announcement that banned both parents from posting photos or videos of the children online.
Interesting. So the courts were already involved in managing their online presence regarding the kids?
Seems like it. And the public discussion around all this, as you can imagine from the source material and comment sections, was intense.
What kinds of things were being said?
Well, looking at the sources, especially discussions captured from TikTok, lots of opinions, allegations against Korra, like child neglect, which the sources say she refuted.
Okay.
And also lots of public commentary on Justin Dean's actions, whether he should move on, things like that. It's important to stress we're just reporting that this stuff was part of the public narrative in the sources, not validating any claims.
Understood. It's a stark example of personal challenges becoming, well, public fodder when you live life online. And these public incidents haven't stopped with the divorce, have they? There are more recent events.
No, definitely not. One really dramatic one the sources cover happened in April 2024. She was live streaming in London.
Right, the alleged attack.
Yeah, The Independent reported on it. Her account described what was initially termed a possible acid attack. She talked about her face burning, using Coke to wash it off.
And there was a knife involved?
She showed a knife. She said the attacker had, looked like it had blood on it. Her sister also confirmed the location as Westminster.
Now, this is one of those incidents where the sources actually present different accounts, which is important to flag.
Crucial. The Independent article includes the police statement, the Metropolitan Police, They confirmed the liquid was actually a non-noxious cosmetic item.
Okay, so not acid according to the police.
Right. But the sources also include Korra's own statement from her video comments, saying she believed it was salicylic acid and felt lucky it wasn't worse. So you have these two differing perspectives presented in the source material.
It really highlights how tricky it can be to get a clear picture when things unfold live online like that. And wasn't there another recent incident, something about an airline?
Yes, TV 360 Nigeria reported she said she was almost removed from a flight
Why?
because of her outfit, apparently.
Yeah.
She described it as a skimpy pink outfit and said she was told to cover up.
And that became a whole discussion point, too.
It did, according to TV 360 Nigeria, spark debate about, public dress codes, especially for women, and airline policies. The airline itself wasn't named in the sources we have.
Just another example of a personal experience in public becoming this huge online conversation.
Exactly, following the Divorce the London incident. It seems these things draw significant attention very quickly.
So if we trace this whole path, from that girl maybe hiding her dancing in Legos to auditioning pregnant on US TV, building this massive online brand, music, writing, and then navigating these incredibly public personal challenges and safety scares, where do the sources say she is now? What's her current status?
Well, the sources confirm she's based in Brentwood, Los Angeles now, still pursuing her entertainment career from there.
And doing quite well, it seems. There's mention of some asset acquisitions.
Yeah, legit. Dating notes, she recently got a Jeep Wrangler and, significantly, bought a home in Brentwood in April 2023, valued at $1.6 million.
Wow. Okay. And her net worth? Any estimates?
There are guesstimates. Buzz Nigeria via legit.ing puts it somewhere between $350,000 and $1 million, attributed to, that very diverse career mix, dance, modeling, music, content.
Right. So looking back at everything these sources have laid out, it really is an extraordinary journey. From Nollywood child star, boundary-breaking dancer, musician, writer, social media force, and someone navigating really complex personal stuff extremely publicly. It screams evolution and resilience.
It really does. This deep dive shows someone who's constantly adapted, expanded her skills, built multiple platforms, all while living a life that's just, intensely watched and commented on, especially in this digital age.
So what does this all mean for you listening in right now? What can we maybe take away from watching a career and a personal life unfold so publicly like this?
Well, I think the sources we looked at today give a really fascinating glimpse into what it takes to build a career in entertainment now. It's not just about talent, is it? It's about that constant evolution, building that direct connection online.
And then navigating the unique pressures and complexities that come when your personal brand and your personal life are so tightly linked, especially on social media. It really makes you think, doesn't it, about the landscape artists operate in today compared to even, say, 20 years ago.